It's Captain Eric. We are out here. It's supposed to be a day off, but we don't take any days off this time of year because it's the best time of year for fishing. I'm out here doing a little graphing, following a grass line right now. Maybe hoping to find some fish scattered out off of it, but we're here to frog fish and topwater fish and to give you guys my top 3 picks for the best topwater baits that y'all need to be throwing this fall. Had some trips over the last few days. Yesterday we lost an absolute giant right up here. We're about to go try to catch her this morning. So you guys stay tuned. Grab a cup of coffee or a cold drink, depending on what time of day it is you're watching this. About to show you guys a little bit of topwater action and show you guys my top 3 bait picks for fall topwater fishing. Fall's coming. It's pretty much here. Had one of our first fronts push through yesterday. It's not chilly in the slightest, but the air this morning has like this slight, I don't know, like crispiness to it. It's freaking awesome. I'm not sweating through my shirt already this morning. So you guys stay tuned. Let's do a little topwater fishing and let's talk about topwater baits. All right, we're out here, guys. It is a beautiful morning. Like I said in the intro, it's not chilly, but the air's a lot drier. Days are getting shorter. Water temps are coming down. You know, we've been getting a lot of rain. And it's got the lake temperatures cooling off. And these fish know, it doesn't take much. When you spend several months living in a freaking oven, it doesn't take much of a change to start getting these fish pretty hungry. I was gonna start with my little called pony popper, but we're gonna go froggy. I'm gonna start with a frog, and that is because there are still a lot of fish spawning, brim, that is. You know, we just had a full moon a couple days ago, and there's still a lot of brim and shellcracker on beds. So anytime got that going on, I'm always gonna throw the frog. Ooh, rolled on it, didn't get it. Little guy. I think they'll look for it again. That was a little bass chasing some bait right there. That's pretty cool. freaking sick. Golly. That's how it goes. I never really got a real good hook set on that fish. But man, that was a great eat. Not a giant, probably 3.5 pounds. But man, he was way in there. Way up there. Pretty cool. See if we can get another one. Not a very violent eat, but he got it. There we go. Little frog bass, maybe about 2 pounds. But small or not, frog bass is always worth 10 points. Decent little frogfish there. Not giant, but a frogfish is a frogfish. Love it. All right, guys. So, my morning bite on the topwater has pretty well petered out. And that's okay. It's expected this time of year. They're eating really good in the morning, but we have to keep in mind that it's still September. And not only is it September, it's early September, it's hot, and we had a full moon last night. They exert a lot of energy feeding at night when the lake is, relatively at its coolest point. Under that moonlight, they can stalk and ambush prey really well and not be seen. So it's an easier hunt, a more effective and successful feed, and they exert a lot of energy doing that. Now they will feed really well first light of the morning as well. The lake temperature, first thing in the morning as the sun comes up, the lake temperature is at its lowest point in the day. It's had all night to cool. Now the sun is coming up. We've got solar radiation heating things up a little bit and, available light. And so that triggers a morning feed. They'll last a little bit. But also the other thing we've got going on today is we are post frontal. Now, this was an early front. Not really going to drop the temperatures too much. It does give us some drier air, which feels absolutely incredible. So my morning topwater bite dies off relatively quickly. Now over the last couple of days on some of the guide trips I've had out here, we've caught some really big fish, even later on in the day on topwater. But it was kind of one of those deals where we had to keep the rod glued to your hand all day and the hard work would pay off. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to show you guys some pictures of some of the fish we've been catching over the last couple of days. Some of the footage that you guys got to watch of me catching fish on Topwater this morning. We lost 2 big ones, one on a frog, one on the walking bait. We'll call it a walking bait. I'm not going to call it a spook. It's not a spook. It's an owner Cultiva that I throw. I throw that, I throw a vixen, and if I've got money on the line, I'm fishing a tournament, I throw some old paycheck baits, repo mans. That being said, the other thing, probably the #1 bait that I have thrown over the last couple of days has been a popper. This little guy right here, this is a Megabass Pop Max. It's in the bass pattern. I absolutely love this bait. It's not a super aggressive popper. I've used a lot of poppers out there that when you pop it, it actually like chugs really deep, gives a super aggressive clunk. This guy kind of just spits and splashes everywhere. And that coupled with that, you know, Tinsley treble hook on the back, I think it just does a really good job of mimicking maybe some small bait and shad on the surface, which we found out today they are really grouped up on small bait right now. They're eating a lot of small shad. The majority of the fish. The bigger fish will eat whatever you put in front of them, but this Megabass Pop Max has been the deal for the last couple of days everywhere we fished. And this bite is only going to get better as the weather cools off. Popper is one of the more effective baits you can throw in the fall. If you're not throwing a popper, you need to go and tie one on and try it. Now I'm throwing this popper on a St. Croix. This is a Legend Tournament bass. It's a 7.3 medium heavy. This one's called the Workhorse. You guys recall from the St. Croix rod review videos I did months back, this one was in it. This is probably one of the best popper slash horse rods that I think I've ever used. And I say that I am not a big St. Croix fan, but these are good enough rods. But this rod in particular for throwing a popper and a devil's horse is one of the best that I've ever used. You know, we chunked the horse around quite a bit today. You guys know from previous videos, I throw a custom devil's horse made by Brian Heberlin. They're the absolute best. Again, that's on that St. Croix Legend Tournament bass Workhorse rod. We didn't have any luck on the horse. I haven't had any luck on a horse, you know, now that the weather's cooling off and I'm throwing a lot of topwater again. I haven't had any luck on the horse yet, but it will come. So I continue to throw it. It's like with any good bite, you want to discover a pattern or a bite before everybody else does and before you hear about it. Of course, Mr. Frog absolutely gets demolished this time of year, first thing in the morning. This particular frog a couple days ago was a brand new SPRO walking frog in a color pattern called Killer Gill. Now, as you can see, it might as well be a white frog now. This frog has been absolutely chewed to pieces over the last couple of days. And I love it. I am a huge frog guy. It's one of my favorite things. I only throw SPRO frogs. I've used every frog out there imaginable and day in, day out. Straight out of the package without having to do a whole bunch of tweaks and modifications and change skirt legs out and change frog hooks out and boil the freaking frog and do all this other stupid stuff. That SPRO walking frog will get the job done every time. For me, anyways. I mean, I don't know. I talk to a lot of guys that do a lot of frog fishing, and they hate SPRO frogs. They say that they never have any luck on them, and their hookup ratio is terrible, and I got to change the hooks, and I got to boil it, and I got to change the skirt legs, and I'm like, maybe it's you. Maybe it's not the frog. Frog bite, as you guys saw this morning, has been good. Again, you got to get on that pattern early while it's still cool. I like to throw my little walking frogs on an assortment of different rods. You know, it changes. If I'm out on Toho and I'm throwing a popping frog or the bigger walking frog, and I know that I'm around some really big fish, and I know the opportunity for a fish of a lifetime is there to come up and eat that frog, you're going to see me throwing it on this bad boy right here. You guys have seen it. I've done the reviews on this rod. This is a Cinco Sticks BTO Plus. This is the 7.3 heavy frog. This is the best frog rod that I've ever used. It's just a little bit, sometimes it can be a little bit stout. The Dobyns Extreme 746 is kind of my go-to frog rod, and like, you know, I might be doing a lot of like side arming and, you know, roll casting the frog up in and around these little cattails and stuff like that. And of course, we're out here on the Winter Haven chain. I'm not saying there's not big fish out here, but you know, most of the fish that you catch out here are gonna be 3 to 5 pounds. I'm not really too worried about having to drag a 10, 11, 12, 13 pounder out of the reeds. You know, like on Toho, you're throwing a frog over offshore hydrilla. You could have a 10 plus come up on your frog on offshore hydrilla on Toho at any given minute. So you better be packing the right gear. Heavy duty lose reel, 45 pound, of course, 45 pound CPF lures, 9X braid is all I throw on any of my braid rods. That is it. You guys will see every single braid rod that I use has the CPF lures, no fade, 9X braid. I'm able to use a smaller diameter line because I'm using 45 pound test. That's it. That's all I buy from them. I buy 45 pound test. I can frog, flip, punch, you name it with that line, and I'm not breaking off. I've had days before where I snapped 65 pound Power Pro. You know, we're not gonna go there, that stuff's garbage. So, the deal that right now, this time of year, is gonna get you your biggest bite of the day. And this one got us one that was 9 pounds on Sunday. Mimics a big shiner, rolling around on the surface. And as tough as it is during the rest of the day, a big fish is still an opportunistic feeder, right? And as it's cooling off, they're going to begin eating more calories every day, especially as we approach the fall and get into the winter. They start getting a little shorter. We start getting some more of these fronts. So the temperature every day cools off a little bit. These fish are going to begin to eat more frequently, and they're going to get on bigger meals because they need the calories. A bigger fish requires more calories. But right now, this guy has not been getting the most bites, but when it gets one that comes up on it, it's the biggest one of the day. Now I throw my walking baits on a Falcon Expert. This is the Hudson Special. It's a 7'3", kind of a medium heavy, medium fast. It's a light, super crispy, well balanced rod. I like to use them for worms as well. Talked about this rod in my last worm video. Got that on an Ingetsu, Japanese Ingetsu reel. Again, 45-pound CPF lures, 9X, no fade braid. But this guy right here is going to get you your biggest bite of the day. But guys, I'm going to leave you with that. Those are my fall topwater bait picks that are either working or will be working here very soon. Get on the water early, go catch some big fish on topwater. And as always, guys, just remember, if you're in the area and you're looking to go on a guided fishing trip and catch big fish on topwater, or maybe hone your frog skills or whatever the case may be, hit me up. I always drop contact info in the description below, as well as links to these lures and more in the description below. I'll leave it with that, guys. I'm gonna go worm some brush piles and see if I can't catch a big girl off a brush pile on a worm. See ya.